Most of my tax.
6:30, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for our troops that are overseas away from their families. You may be seated. All right. Chief, would you please do the honors?
Chief Sire, Police Department. Chief Will, Fire Department.
Patrick Manley, Director of Public Works.
Ellen Glass, City Manager. Kristen Kenyak, City Clerk.
Denise Miller, City Councilor.
Brad Dick, City Councilor.
Jerry Link, Mayor Pro Tem.
Sam Howell, City Council.
Tom Gibb, City Council.
Brenda Simons, City Councilor.
All right, and Kristen, I would like to excuse Elizabeth from the meeting today. We'll move on to special presentations. Don, I guess Ellen, you're gonna be handling that?
Yeah, yes, I am. Actually, a little different. I'm gonna head over to this side of the room. Don, if you wanna follow me.
Walk this way.
Walking him out already.
That's okay. I know, Kristen, I'm not sure why I'm so nervous for this one, other than, this is a tough one for me. So, and I am, I'm gonna read it. I'm a reader. I'm a reader tonight. I'm a reader tonight. Don knows that, so. Tonight I have the privilege of recognizing someone who has made a tremendous impact on the city of Linden, and me personally. When I hired Don, the department was at a point where there was a significant amount of heavy lifting that needed to be done. In many ways, we were rebuilding the department from the ground up, establishing expectations, strengthening operations, rebuilding structure, and creating a department that could meet the needs of the community both today and well into the future. Don stepped into that challenge and brought an incredible level of professionalism, knowledge, leadership, and stability with him. He set the bar extremely high for what we should expect from our Department of Public Works. He strengthened the department, helped develop the employees around him, improved our operations, and approached every project and every challenge with the goal of doing what was best for the city of Linden. But for me, Don's impact goes far beyond his role as DPW director. Don has been a tremendous mentor to me both personally and professionally. Over the years, there have been countless conversations, difficult decisions, projects, challenges, and probably more than a few moments when I just needed to talk something through. His experience, perspective, integrity, and support have meant more to me than I can adequately put into words. I'm incredibly grateful for Don and the foundation he has built and the standards he has established that will continue long after his retirement. Don, on behalf of the city of Linden, I would like to present you with this plaque, which reads, in grateful appreciation for your outstanding leadership, dedication, and years of service as Director of Public Works, your commitment to excellence, integrity, and service has strengthened our community and inspired those who have the privilege to work alongside you. Thank you for your exceptional service and lasting contributions. Congratulations on your retirement. With sincere appreciation and best wishes for happiness and new adventures in the years ahead. Don, thank you for everything you've done for the city, this organization, employees, this community, and myself. And personally thanking you for the mentorship, your friendship, your guidance, and for being someone I have been fortunate enough to have alongside me through so much of this work. You're leaving some big shoes to fill, but you are also leaving behind a department that is stronger because you were here. We are going to miss you tremendously, but you have certainly earned the opportunity to enjoy this next chapter. Congratulations and thank you.
No words, Don?
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Chris, correspondence. We have a letter from the MML, annual meeting notice.
Nothing there.
All right, now we'll move on to public comment. Individuals wishing to speak will be called upon utilizing the completed public comment cards. Remarks should be addressed to the presiding officer and is not to be a time of debate, but for comments or questions for council and/or staff to answer or research. Questions will be answered during the meeting if the information is readily available. If the answers are not available during the meeting, council or staff will contact that individual 1 week or 7 business days. Should be 5 business days.
What's that?
1 week or 7 business days.
I don't know, I have to verify who it's in the.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Or when the information becomes available. No person shall have the right to speak more than once on any particular subject until all persons wishing to be heard on that subject have had an opportunity to speak. So with that, we'll start with Monica Larner.
I'm Monica Lerner, and I live at 152 West Ralston. So again, I'm speaking on behalf of the LoC Center. So I did receive a lengthy email explaining things that we already knew, which I consider excuses for why the programming is not where it should be. And kind of the closing argument, if you want to call it that, was regarding the photograph of the parking lot taking approximately 11 a.m. on Tuesday, July 21st. The image reflects only a single point in time and does not provide a complete representation of the center's overall attendance or utilization. Participation records provide a more accurate measure of overall utilization than a single photograph taken. So it was kind of missing the point completely that that 11 o'clock there was supposed to be a 10:30 class for my husband. There was supposed to be an 11 o'clock dance class, and there was no prior canceling the classes. So I come into an empty parking lot, and I'm sure there's been other instances where people have come into an empty parking lot. I did not receive the May activity log that I asked for. I feel we're just considered to be numbers, and I don't like that feeling. So for instance, just in the first week of August here, on August 3rd, there was no gentle flow yoga. On the 4th, there was no drums live and no arthritis and no line dance. On the 5th, there was no cardio. On the 6th, there was no drums live and no arthritis exercise. This has been ongoing at least since March. And why can't we get participation? Why can't we get instructors? Today, the gentle yoga was done with a phone type thing, so I don't know how that all worked or whatever, but my husband came back saying they had to listen to it on the phone. So what kind of instruction is that? Thank you.
All right, next, May Vernon.
Good evening. May Vernon, I live in Linden. On June 8th, at the council meeting, I had questions which were to be answered at a later date. On June 15th, I received a non-responsive email from the city treasurer and replied immediately. Today is 43 working days since June 8th. I still have no answers. Another taxpayer submitted an email on June 10th, still no answers. So my question is, when can I expect to receive an answer from the city treasurer? Now another matter. The city attorney calls our charter a muddled mess, then says the city manager can do as she pleases, then states the city manager serves at the pleasure of council. The city manager signed a contract which says in part, she feels she is, quote, capable of complying with charter requirements, end quote. This contract was signed in 2019. Repeatedly, I have heard the words unclear, ambiguous, contradictions applied to our charter, which was created by popular vote. A lot of Linden voters supported this charter. I'd like to read 3 statements that I'm quoting from the charter. Number 1, each department head shall have the authority to hire and discharge that department's employees upon the advice and comment of city manager, subject to the council's approval. Number 2, the manager's responsibility is to recommend appointments and removals of administrative personnel, subject to council confirmation. Number 3, the city manager must have council approval before retaining for compensation any firm or individual. These statements clearly show powers of approval and confirmation are held by the city council. So I would appreciate it if somebody could possibly show me in our city charter any contradiction to those statements. I have searched diligently and I can't find one. So show me. Our city council, our elected representatives, one of their duties is to make certain the city manager does her job correctly. Thank you for your time.
Next we have Marta Wright.
My name is Marta Wright, and I live at 114 North Main Street. The first thing I want to say is, Don, I'm going to miss you walking through my office multiple times a day as I'm sitting there swearing at my computer. I'm reading this letter. I was asked to read it because the person that wrote it has been on the other end of this, and this is titled Adult Bullying. She and her adult children were bullied due to her support of the city. So here it goes. An adult bully is a person who persistently uses intimidation, manipulation, and aggressive behavior to exert power and control over others. Does this description remind you of anyone or two? We, the Linden Council and citizens, have allowed people to bully our city manager, our city clerk, our department clerk, our treasurer, and all other city employees. The mayor bullied the department clerk over not getting proper papers and publicly humiliated her on Facebook. When confronted, the bully did not even apologize. The damage had already been done when she did apologize at the next meeting. A citizen has consistently bullied our city manager by calling her names, threatening legal action to the point that the city manager should maybe have police protection. We have a councilwoman who feels she can overstep the rules of protocol by expounding, then making citizens uncomfortable, and yell out at a member of the crowd for smiling. Only apologies when called out about it at the next meeting. I, for one, am embarrassed by the actions of our elected officials and citizens. All of you are adults. You all have the right to voice your opinion, but not to the extent of hurt feelings or threatening mental or physical actions. If these actions happened on the playground, you'd be suspended from school. At work, you would have a few days off with no pay. stop the bullying, or maybe legal action should be undertaken. Thank you.
Okay, next, Ramona Dees.
I would like to know, Ramona Dees, 506 North Bridge Street. I would like to know if the city has investigated the possibility of applying for a housing and urban development grant to build low-cost senior housing on part of the Losi property. This was planned before this board took over, before the city took over, and the whole proposal fell apart. But housing is needed, especially by a lot of widows who are trying to survive on small pensions, or maybe not pensions, but just Social Security. And I know that Linden's not really a low-income city. There are some of us who are living pretty comfortably, but I think we have a responsibility to those people who are living here who are really having a problem. And I would like to see the city do something about this, at least try. And I want to mention too, when we came back from our vacation, the road was finished. And it's so nice. It's so nice to be able to walk down Tickner without breathing the fumes from vehicles and so on. So thank you for getting that done. Unfortunately, it looks like you ran out of money to do Tickner, and it is a mess. It's a real mess now, especially with the extra traffic that happened on it. So I hope that we can come up with a little bit of money to do some repairs on that. And thank you for listening.
And Judy Preston.
Judy Preston. I'd like to ask the 7 council members to describe their jobs and their duties to everyone during the council comment today, if possible. Because I thought you were elected to represent the voices of the people, not the orders of the administration. Listen to your community, stand firm for your constitutional rights, and work together as leaders to guide our city with courage and integrity. My questions is why is the city manager making departments and department heads not following the city charter book? Why is the city manager not getting council confirmation when confirmation is where you guys vote? It's not introducing. There's 2 different meanings to that. And then why is the city manager getting approval, not getting approval by city council when purchasing things? Why is they skipping the vote, bypass the vote, and divide it between 3 different departments when it's 1 total bill? And if it exceeds the resolution 0826, it should come to council to vote. That's how you account for our money. This is our taxpayer money. And then I want you guys to all remember that the city manager answers to you. You don't answer to the city manager. I want you to ask questions in writing to the city manager, and I expect the city manager to return in writing the responses. It's not, come to my office and I'll explain it to you, because then it's behind the door. I've never said it. That's bullshit. That's what that is. The other thing is, I sent an email June 10th, still deflecting, treasurer never respond. I've sent you guys all the emails And still to this day, nothing. And there's things in the charter that need to be followed. And the respect needs to go to our council. We need more respect to the council. As far as the city attorney goes, as far as I'm concerned, you can fire his ass.
Okay, are there any other public
I
comments?
put my thing in.
Oh, did you? Under, for the cemetery
I'm in a
board?
row, I put my thing in there, and I lost
That was
it.
under boards.
Was it was under the boards, the cemetery boards?
It was under public comment,
But it's regarding the cemetery board?
well, it was, but I was gonna try to do it under public comment, because I wasn't gonna stay that way, because I'm already on my position.
Okay, that's
Can I
fine.
do it now?
Yeah, that's fine, go
Oh,
ahead.
thank you, I'm sorry, I'm glad you didn't lose it, I was getting paranoid.
Yeah, no problem.
My God, stop me before. I'm sorry, it is on the cemetery board, but, I need to get home earlier, sorry. But it's a good night for the cemetery board thing to come up, because this is a little bit about Don. And well, not a lot, sorry, a little. I understand that you are looking at creating a cemetery board. But I wanted you to know it's been going on for the last couple of years. I'm gonna try to read this really fast. And then I'll explain to you why I'm reading it to you really fast. So in 2024, I called Don, I live across the circuit, I said, Don, what can I do to help in the cemetery? And he said, tell me what you can do, and I sent him 2 pages, and he didn't let me do all 2 pages, but he said, I do need somebody to clean the stones. And so I trained with Professor Thomas Henthorne out of the University of Michigan in Flint, whatever direction that is, on restoring and cleaning those stones. I met then with Doug Tebow at the Oakwood Cemetery in Fenton to discuss how they approach that with their community. And then that winter, because that was in the fall of 2025, Joel Pounds, who's not here to speak to this, began to compile a working document, right here, I'm going to show it to you, a working document, because it's really hard on it, that we could use, and when we started cleaning in the cemetery to know what we were cleaning, what we weren't. This is just the original cemetery, so he worked really hard on that for quite a long time, and so that we could walk around and monitor what we were cleaning. I poured through the Fairview Cemetery Tome, which is this, if you've never seen it, Ruth Pell, it's in the library, I took it out for an entire year. Talked with Craig Newberry at the VFW, talked with the Linden Historic Society, Linden Mills Historic Society, what they saw needed at the cemetery. I familiarized myself with the Michigan Historic Cemetery Preservation Guide, and so felt ready to clean. And then in that same summer of 2025, Professor Henthorne brought his team out here from the University of Michigan, and 17 members from the Linden Mills Historic Society cleaned 20 stones for the first time in God knows how many years at the cemetery, and I brought the proof of it. It was written up in the Times. And then Ray Davis and I attended an advanced cemetery preservation workshop at the Glenwood Cemetery, which I think cost the city $100 because Professor Hunter let me go for free. The Boy Scouts in that same September came, Troop 111, cleaned 17 more stones, and then they came again in October and cleaned another bunch of stones. You get the point. So in 2025, we worked really hard to get a lot of things cleaned and done. We set 4 small stones. We uncovered a stone that was so buried that we didn't even really know it existed. And then in February of this year, the first newsletter went out by the Linden Fairview Cemetery Volunteer Newsletter. I'm actually quite proud of it, and I'm just going to give it to you. Pass that down. And that went out, and it's a picture of my grandson on the back, so it's the one. Then in April, I sent out another newsletter, and in that newsletter, I let everybody know that we were going to be up and running for a clean in May. And we were all set to go, and then I got sick.
Your time, I apologize, but your time's up.
My husband's gonna keep going. Can I finish this, please, because I can't
How
say.
much do you have?
2 more minutes. I'm almost done, I promise. All right, I promise. So, the other thing that we were gonna bring up in April was the idea of a 5013C. And that 5013C was talked about among the volunteers in order to support the cemetery. And what I'm trying to say tonight is that there's an organization that's been up and running and working at the cemetery for some time now. And that organization is willing to form a 501(c), if you're not familiar with it, which its sole purpose is to raise money on volunteers in support of the cemetery. A board costs the city money. And I know that you're going to be looking at this, and there are a lot of reasons that you're going to discuss for doing both. But I want you to know that there is something already out there that you can plug into that's at the heart of this community, right? And so when you have that conversation, please consider that. And I believe we could have a 501(c) up and running by spring. And that would cost the city nothing, just like all the work we've done has cost the city almost next to nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you for your extra time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, we'll move, any more questions, public comments?
I didn't know I was supposed to fill out a card.
If you can fill out a card afterwards and turn it into Kristen, that would be
Okay.
great. Please go ahead.
No problem. Thank you.
Graham Morgan, 312 Hickory Street. Back in June, I had a little medical situation, and I've lived in Linden all my life, and I've never really had to use any of the local resources, I'll say, but care and response and the time that was spent with me was greatly appreciated. I just wanted to thank Chief Wells. Appreciate it, folks. And Mark.
Okay, any more comments, public comments? Going once, going twice? Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda, which is covering the city council meeting minutes from July 27th, 2026. Application to use public property, Hill, Hill? Yeah. Zombies, Scarecrows, and Monsters date change to October 23rd, 24th, 2026, and then the financial reports.
I make a motion to accept. Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Yeah, we roll call.
Oh, it does have to be, okay, sorry. All the finance.
Dick,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes,
Howie.
Yes.
Motion
okay. Moving on to H, the cemetery board discussions. We'll start out with public comments. David Lambert? Is that correct?
Thank you. I was one of them who had recommended doing the board, and for many reasons. Basically, the board, the idea of the board is to recommend to the council who oversees the cemetery on an ongoing basis for improvement of the cemetery and for the perpetual care of the cemetery. And also to recommend to the council updates and improvements to the charter itself. Having read through the charter, in some ways the charter language is somewhat restrictive to the city itself. In this day and age when work orders are the norm rather than the DPW doing business, the current allocation doesn't exactly make sense for them. And it seems kind of redundancy that's kind of built into the charter there. Additional things, because I know I have short time, is to recommend a perpetual care fund for the cemetery that would have future improvements for the cemetery. That would include things like catch basins and drainage systems for known problem areas of standing water, repurposing such things as the maintenance shed that is no longer in use in the same way, adding columbarium. If you look at comparables, other cities, the city of Fenton's on their third columbarium. Holly, they have columbariums. Even the local city churches have columbariums, and there's none in the city of Fenton, or Linden, and it's well behind the curve on that. Other things, the fee collection process doesn't exactly reflect the charter anymore, and it really shouldn't be, the way I feel is that it shouldn't just be a couple people on the city staff basically deciding what the future of the cemetery is. Currently it's, and it's nothing against what they're doing. In fact, I want to say that I think that the cemetery has been well maintained for the most part. and that the current contractors are doing a good job with it, but a board would do a lot more than that. Other things to consider would be the future plotting of new land, as the other lady spoke of, which is maintenance of headstones and what I would call legacy ones for historical ones that are long past where the family would be around to even take care of anything. And then lastly, as a historical note, I would also recommend changing the name of the, what's called the original section, to the James Ball section, who was the original person buried in the cemetery. He's not recognized at all. And the whole cemetery started because of him. That's my short version, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments on, okay, fill out the card?
We've been working with the cemetery originally going back to Dave Lossing. He was 2 mayors ago. We used to do a lot of headstone cleaning and things like that. So we've been doing a lot of stuff in the cemetery, not just, you know, painting the cemetery fence, but actually doing a lot of work in the cemetery. When it comes to things like a 501c3, we were working with Luann Eastlick on creating a 501c3. The thing is, with a nonprofit group like a Friends of the Fairview Cemetery, we can get grants and stuff that aren't available to the city, but are available to these small nonprofit groups. And one of the reasons for setting up a Friends group is we can reach into, get some of these things that aren't specifically tied to like municipal grants. And also, when it comes to the Fairview Cemetery itself, it's actually one of the oldest functions of the city, dating back to the 1850s. The guy who originally gave the property, I believe his name is Perry Lamb, because that was originally part of that farm, and he's buried in the cemetery. And I just wanted to say that I think it would be a better idea to have a Friends group rather than an actual board, so that way we can take advantage of some of these things. I also went through the training with Luann, so it'd be nice to have, you know, just another support group that could help the city in parts where they're not able to do, you know, entirely by themselves. And so that's all I have to say.
Anyone else? On the cemetery board? Okay, we'll open it up to council. Councilor Sutton?
I don't have anything to add.
I'm gonna study this. Okay. Councilor Howell?
So, I've given this a lot of thought, and the cemetery board is not, it's not in our best interest for a lot of things. It's another board that's unnecessary because the DPW has all the functions that were mentioned in comments. They do the maintenance, they do the fixing, they do everything, they prioritize the repairs because that's how they have to do that. There's other things in the city that need to be done, they do the most pressing things first. But they've done one heck of a lot in the last, since Don took over, and I know it will continue under Patrick. These, you know, no one can say that they haven't removed invasive species, those species that are out of place that have been taking over, like tree of heaven, which in a cemetery is definitely not a tree of heaven, because we won't go there. Don't want to bore you with biology, but they've done a heck of a lot of work, and they've straightened it, they've fixed headstones, they've dug them up, they've done everything that everybody's talked about. And with the Friends of Fairview Cemetery, they can do even more because under 501c3, they can get donations, they can get grants, and with specific earmarks for doing like veterans stones and important things like that, such as what's been done in the Fenton Cemetery who also has a Friends of. But more important is the civic involvement. There's over 20 people active with the Friends of, well, what will be the Friends of Fairview Cemetery. Over, including people like Kelly Miller and a lot of people whose families have ties to the cemetery. I've been on 3 cemetery headstone cleanings, and I've been so impressed by the scouts and the local community outpouring. People walking by, coming in, can we help, can we help? So when you start turning things over to a board, then you start having more control over these types of events. It's not needed, it's redundant. It will end up costing the city more money because it's like the planning commission and they have all the paperwork and they have the meeting dates. Whereas with a Friends group, the DPW can tell them what needs to be done and they go for it and they do the work. But I also think it's short-minded to have, for us to make any decisions on it right now. We can consider this down the road, but I think we need to table it at least until Ms. Luann gets becomes healthy again. Okay, but I can rest be assured, the 501c3 is going to go through.
Councilor Miller.
Well, I can tell you that, anything we can do for that cemetery will never be enough. My mother-in-law and my brother-in-law are both there. We're weighing right now if this is where we're going, between the VA, Great Lakes, or a place in the cemetery. My only concern is the old part. When you walk over and you see these old headstones, and there's nothing anyone could have done. This is past. This is past that it wasn't taken care of. It's not what's happening now, which happened in the way past, where we see Civil War headstones broken 3 or 4 places. I'm all for the cleaning the stones. I think Luann and the group, all of them, I mean, everyone that were out there cleaning these stones did a great thing. We just need to continue it on. Do we need a board? I look at the historical. I mean, we have a board for the historical, so we make sure that there's somebody listening to what our old buildings are doing. If we could form a group with Luann and the rest, and a friendship board, and we have people come to a meeting, I think that would probably be sufficient. Where Dave, I mean, he makes these stones. He made the stone for both my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law, and I never knew how to make a stone. You walk into Bent Memorial, and they get your information, and he did a great job. So his concern is the stones, and I think that if the Friends of the Cemetery can have meetings where the public is invited to, it doesn't necessarily have to be a board, but it has to be open to the public for those who want to work and do good in the city. My father put up his own cemetery in South Carolina. He put it on his own land. They said, just go ahead, put a flag up, put a fence around it. My father was the first one in it. Now there's a lot of people in that cemetery, and it takes a lot of hard work to take care of that cemetery. So that's my recommendation. If we don't need a board, we do need something. We need something where Luann, which has put her heart in it, and Mr. Dave back there can get together and think of what's good for our city and these people that are in there. We need to respect our ancestors. And I know that I go back there all the time. And Don, amazing. You can see the difference from the time you came in to the time now. And it's absolute, whoever said night and day, the people that go down there, Tickner Street people, we go in there a lot. So I thank you and your workers for what they've done. So if we can maybe come to an agreement that those two groups can get together. I know Dave would probably be satisfied too, that we can make sure our future's good in that cemetery. So thank you.
Councilor Dick.
I would definitely support a 501c3 with city support. Not a board, but 501c3. They can move faster, they can get more things done. Mr. Lambert wanted to do part of that, that'd be great, be as part of the board, be a conflict of interest, possibly, but, you know, as part of a friends group, with his guidance, that'd be great. I think it'd be fantastic, you know, competition to the stones, what needs to be done, and the 501c3 can definitely reach out to more groups to get grant money to fix these stones, you know, Friends of the Sisters of the Revolution and different groups like that, Daughters, and, you know, there's a lot of them out there. And, you know, the VAs, groups, American Legion, things like that, restore some of these stones that need to be done. And if 501c3 can do it a lot faster and a lot easier than the city can. You know, if we formed a board and we did that, then that would be another grant we send staff after, and it takes more time away from everything else they do. But, you know, C3 can get them faster, can get it done better, and can probably actually reach out and get more volunteers to do it than if we had a board.
Okay. I am also in agreement with going with the charity. You know, the expertise, the knowledge that you all have, you and Leanne, David, that, you know, the DPW could kind of rely on that expertise, but still having them, you know, handle the day-to-day operations of it, and, you know, get recommendations or bounce recommendations off of this group. It gives us the ability to get grants through that group, and then also grants through the city, so there's just more avenues to bring money in. I know a lot of the old stones, like through the Historic Society, you can get grants through that. So, you know, this just gives us more avenues to get more money to work on the cemetery and still maintain which the cemetery looks in good shape. So, other than some of the old stones that are knocked over, but in general, the cemetery looks really good. So I guess we would just say at this point in time, proceed as is. I mean, this is what you need from us, right, is how we want to proceed. Is everybody in agreement that we kind of proceed with it as is, and then the Friends of the Cemetery can work with the city?
Mayor Pro Tem, can I just ask you a question? Sure. Ellen, is this something that we can put together, that public will have some voice, just meetings, when they have Dave, and hopefully someone will reach out to Dave, and get this group together, just to, not a board, but just a group, and, you know, bring him in, and the public in, so we can get some of this stuff going? Is that?
So I think what's being suggested right now is a friends group that would be organized outside of the city, that the city they would just be a support group to the city staff, the sexton, the DPW, and they would organize independently. So that would be something that the individuals that are involved with that volunteer group would be the ones that would initiate all of that. So.
I think that what I was kind of asking is, how do we know the names? I mean, you don't want 2 or 3 different groups. I mean, you will recognize a group that is get together, like Luann and Dave, or, you know, how do you get these people together? That they all work conjunct, you know?
Maybe Pam, it looks like Pam's got her
So-
hand up, maybe she can.
So what Luann is planning, and she's the only group working with the cemetery at the moment, or the only one organizing people to work at the cemetery, is she's working on filing papers for a 501c3 Friends of the Fairview Cemetery. And as a 501c3, they probably they'd have meetings, because they're they need to meet occasionally. And, you know, meetings would be open to the public. It's not a private thing, it's all about serving the community, which is what Luann was explaining.
Well, maybe what Luann can do is just reach out to them,
Yeah,
and I think
and-
everybody working together.
Right, you know, what the beautiful thing about it is, you get all the people together, you get more ideas flowing, and you work, it's a wonderful thing for the community.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, you know, that group can get with it, come do a special presentation at one of the council meetings if there's people with questions, and if anybody calls, you can direct them to this group to say, hey, this is who's right, supporting the cemetery.
Also recognizing that ultimately the decision for what happens in the cemetery is the city council's decision. So, as it happens now, our sexton makes recommendations on any capital improvements that needs to happen there, any, maintenance, all of those things. And, so those recommendations, would be brought to the city council if it warrants it. The DPW, the sexton right now is just overall doing maintenance and things like that. So I just wanted to make ordinance that we had in front of you guys at the last meeting.
Unfinished business.
Oh, unfinished business, I'm sorry. Unfinished. Sorry, chief.
Okay.
I'm skipping ahead. So, actually, a couple of updates. So the Losi Band update, actually, I put it in my Friday update to you guys. We did finally receive word from Mass Transit Authority regarding the van, that we did get approved for, funding. We're working through the process with them, and they're expecting that we should have the van sometime in September. So, more to come. That program is gonna take some time for us to develop and structure, but we're looking forward to being able to have that. Kristen, you wanna give an update on the meeting recordings?
Yes, we have the projector fixed, as you can see, and then also in the annex, that equipment is now installed and, ready to use when needed.
I don't have anything additional on the contract status, comment cards, and the grants. We've been trying to get the grants list updated and have you guys at the second meeting, every month, so that's where it's standing right now.
Comment card updates?
I don't have anything in addition to that.
Okay. All right, is there any resident comments or questions on the unfinished business that we just spoke about? Seeing none, we'll move forward. New business, this is ordinance number 428, an ordinance amending Charter 72 of Title 8 of the Code of Ordinances, bicycles, scooters, and mopeds. Alan, you seem excited about this one, please.
I apologize. No, I'll let Chief Sutter, handle this one, but was in front of you guys at the last meeting. You guys had suggested some language that was, to be put in there, and it turns out that the language actually wasn't there, so Chief, I'll let you, move forward.
Yep, exactly what Ellen said, and you guys brought some feedback at the last or that last meeting. And there is language in the ordinance that addresses this. And on page 2, section 72-02, unlawful operation and parking, section BIV, the language prohibits devices a half hour after sunset to a half hour before sunrise if they do not have a front lamp visible and a red rear reflector. If they have these, they're allowed. So, and I know you guys, that's a great point. I think Tom did that. I think it's a good point, so people can use those devices to go back and forth to work or whatever. So, that is in the ordinance itself.
All right, any public comments on the new business? Seeing none, we'll start at this end. Councilor Miller.
Any updates of, police activity with the scooters? Has there been any problems at all?
We had a couple kids, and they were young, and I think our favorite Lieutenant Jewel, he talked to them, and he followed them home and talked to parents. And they pushed their bikes, and they were very, again, it's mostly kids, and they're very cooperative, and they're like, I didn't know any better, and again, so we will, and we'll continue to look out for some of the complaints that were from last meeting, looking out for those kids. I know we had some cruiser checks on Hyatt. There was a lady from Hyatt, so we were keeping an eye on that between those hours that she was talking about. And we will continue to do so.
Well, I thank you, and I thank the police department. Everything's a teaching moment. I told
It
you the
is.
story, it's a teaching moment. And if you see something, teach them what's wrong. And you guys do a great job. Like I told you, I was in a different county, and the police department here is amazing. And the teachable things you teach these kids and adults, you give them some more, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Davis.
Looks good for now. We've got everything we need to, we need some teeth, we have it now.
Yep.
That's what we asked for.
Councilor Howell.
It looks really good, and it covers everything we need to be covered, and clearly defines what's a bike and what's an electric bike, so, I think it's good.
Councilor Hicks.
No, I think you've addressed everything pretty close. I haven't seen the little dirt bikes, electric and gas, running around as much as they were. Wife had mentioned today, she saw a group of kids, they had to be 8 to 10, and it's like, well, we're gonna
some skirmish about that, so I just didn't want us to get pulled into something that belonged to the township or to them.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. My son, he's a little criminal, and was riding his motorcycle when he was younger. We're also, it was almost like motocross back then, but with the holes. But he did get pulled over, and they gave him a warning, and he came into the house crying to me that they were gonna take his motorcycle away, and I said, well, there you go. Never rode it again on that road. So, but anyhow, yeah, I think it's great that, you know, that we address this from a safety standpoint. And, but at the same time, we don't need to be, I guess, overly strict as long as, you know, we're taking care of the problem.
Right.
So, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, Ellen, please go again with the manager's update.
Not a ton, this evening. We did have another District 3, meeting, in regards to the sewer. At the last meeting, I updated you all that they're looking at, they are on a 5-year rate structure, for their rates, and they were proposing, about a 21% increase. And they've actually, in the meeting last week, have reduced that down to about 13%, if they can feasibly do that. And I think it equates to like $4 and roughly $4.50 a month, I think it is, or?
Yeah, I think it's a month. We're still waiting on final numbers from Genesee County Drain Commission.
Yeah, so more to come on that, but, once they finalize it, they will be around to update, the city councils and present, but, so, we've been on the, system for many years, and, they have had this rate structure in place for, since the beginning. And other than that, I don't have a too much. I updated you guys on the Losi van, give you guys an update on the, senior center operations as far as election day goes and things like that. We're hosting Small Cities, on September 2nd. We're looking for a speaker if you guys have any ideas. Happy to, do that. And we're also working with the, I think, Linden Hotel on hosting. So, yes. Yes.
Anything else?
Okay. Yeah, so, sorry, there was a question on voting on the ordinance. So you guys do have the ability to vote on the ordinance tonight if you would like to put it in place. That was the question. So, it's up to you all.
I mean, I think everybody's in agreement with it. I know it's not the norm, but is anybody opposed to voting on it tonight? Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I'll say.
I'll make, I have to state the motion now, so. Okay. I will make a motion that we approve ordinance number 428, and ordinance amending chapter 72 of title 8 of the Code of Ordinances, bicycles, scooters, and mopeds.
Second.
Okay, Kristen?
Link,
Yes.
Simons,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's all?
Yep.
For the manager's
Sorry about that. I
update?
didn't,
Yeah, no
she was
worries.
trying to get my attention, and so I apologize, but,
Yeah,
so
no worries.
once it's published, it's what, 10 days before
10
it's
days from publication.
So 10 days for publication, so just FYI, the ordinance.
Good. Well, thank you, Ellen, for the update. Now we'll move on to council comments and reports. Councilor Howell, please start us out.
Oh, geez, thank you. So I have a couple of comments. One, again, Kristen and Nikki did a wonderful job of the elections. The election day ran smooth, there was no problems, they kept us workers well fed and happy and fat, so, and nobody complained either. It was really a wonderful thing. Triangle Park, if anybody drives by, you'll notice the improvements are coming. The cement pad is being poured, the parking spaces are being made, and it's a lot neater than it used to be. So I'm right across from the park, I noticed all that dust, and they're really doing good. There's the e-bikes on the pathway. I was out there early one morning with the dog. They're really polite. The people out there have been really nice, even though there's some that are going, I know they're going fast on the pathway. But anyway, they're polite. And I'd like to address what Judy said. What is civic-minded person who gets out in their community and supports the businesses, the city, and its citizens. It's a multifaceted thing. It's not limited to just one thing or the other. There's businesses, there's city events, we support those. We're a member of the Historic Society, we're a member of the happenings in Linden. We help with the events. We're civic-minded. We support the local Linden Presbyterian Church Fish Food Bank for being kind to our neighbors. We share our garden stuff with our neighbors. I could go on, but I'm an extremely civic-minded person, so I thought I'd address that.
And you work elections.
Oh, geez, I worked in elections too. Remember Historic Society.
All right, Counselor Hicks.
I don't really think I have much to say tonight. I think I used up a lot of words last meeting, so. The only thing I had a question for, you said the bicycle thing ends at the city limits?
Yeah, that's not our jurisdiction.
If you're in hot speed pursuit, do you pull off like Bonnie and Clyde or go
No,
no. Sorry.
Counselor Simons.
So, thank you for the segue into the pathway, Pam. That was very nice. So what's going on with the pathways? They're working on the Triangle Park, as Pam stated, and the timeline got pushed back a little bit. It's pushed back to Labor Day weekend. They're working on the connecting the boardwalk, the retaining walls there along the water, and in the Triangle Park, they're planning to have the big cement pad. They're planning to have a bike rack, pathway, kiosk, and a map. So there'll be picnic tables too. So it's coming along great, and I'll let you guys know when we're going to have the ceremony for opening of the pathway.
Can I ask a question? The cement area, I saw that today, it was for that big cement area. Is that gonna be for picnic tables and stuff?
Yes.
And
Yep, and there'll be a map there, so people can see the pathway and where they are, like you are here, Matt. Yeah.
Thank you.
And there'll be a lot of signs giving instructions to people to not have bands on the dock.
All right, good?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Counselor Miller.
Okay, welcome Patrick.
Thanks.
And Don. You're gonna be missed. And I know you showed him all the ropes. You got everything perfect. So, thank you for everything you've done for City of Linden. The LoC classes, I'm still concerned, about cancellations. These are mostly the classes for the older folks, 70 plus, and they really need them. So I know that, an email to Ellen, and they said that they were really working on trying to get some people in here to get, some classes going. So Monica, I hope that helps. Emails back to our residents, I believe they should be, addressed, and if you can, address them. I know there's a lot of them, so maybe pare them down to one a week or something that they can get their answers. It was brought up about, me apologizing at the last meeting. I did. And I take the way I handle myself, seriously. And I did goof up. You know, raise your hand if you never have. I've walked out of this building and you called out of my name. I know you. You're right, you have. I have been called, the B word walking out of here by a group of people, you know? I have, tried my best to keep my chin up. And yeah, I messed up. This doesn't come, you know, with instructions. And I'm trying my best. And I worry about just the residents, honestly. My job as council is to work together to make Linden the best it can be and follow the rules as we do. I think it's important that the city and the council work together hand in hand to make sure everything is seamless and we all know what's going on here. I respect all my council members here, and I know we all have the same goal. And I can do better, Margo. I can. And I'm speaking out because you addressed me. I will do better. I got hurt going out here, being called names. And normally I'm pretty tough. And I did apologize to the person because I was wrong. And that's the right thing to do. So I'll leave it at that. And I know this city council will continue to do good work. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Day.
The Lindenwood project is getting closer and closer to being wrapped up. The driveways have been done now, and they're doing remediation on the driveways, and don't have to go back to your remediation on the original road, restoration, and getting all the lawns back together, but everybody appreciates the driveway cuts. And it seems to, everybody seems to be pretty happy with those so far, everybody I've talked to. And we've got, a community development block grant money being spent at the amphitheater. We have a new handicap seating area that's being installed at the top, so it'll be wheelchair accessible to be able to, our senior centers be able to bring wheelchair, people in wheelchairs, remote walkers, that's it, and they'll be able to have a nice pad now at the top of the amphitheater to be located at, so you can enjoy the music by the mill and other events that we have going on down there. So that's a project that's wrapping up, which will lead to more projects, because that parking lot looks terrible, and the rest of the sidewalk looks bad, and lots of things, but as Patrick's probably not that, it's like, I'm out of here. Definitely gonna be missed. I know Patrick already has a long list that you did to him. Because Don's always had like one of those honey-do lists, but, instead of from the wife, it's from the city and the residents. We need this road, we need this road, we need that road, this needs to be patched, that needs to be cut out, this needs to be taken care of. And it just keeps adding, I don't think the list ever got shorter for them. But we appreciate all your time that you gave us in your second career. We wish you well in the future. And as for, council duties is being out in the public, talking to the public, listening to you, responding to answers when we can, helping you get answers if we can, and just being part of the community. I do a million community events. I serve on boards at Michigan Municipal League. I serve on boards at the county. I serve, to try to get more influence and more spotlight on Linden. I chair the Genesee County Master Plan Steering Committee, for the simple reason of, I wanted the county commissioners to know that the county, there is actually county land and people south of Thompson Road.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, they asked us, why are we there? And that's exactly what they told us. I'm here because you guys don't know that you have residents that live south of Thompson Road.
Can you join the Fenton Township?
So, that's part of our job. And as for, people that are asking us to speak out of the Fenton Township, we have. For the Redwood development, the planning commission sent a formal letter opposing rezoning of the Redwood development, because they couldn't tell us, they actually stated in the paper that they were getting the water from us, and they never talked to us or anything else at the time. And, they don't care what we say, unfortunately. I wish they did, but they don't. We try. That's all we can do.
Could I speak at the end for a few minutes, give you a little brief update on Redwood? Or put me on next meeting?
Next meeting, please.
Okay. Can we also add the speed limit assessment back on here?
If you want, you could probably just send everything over to Ellen, and they usually put everything on the agenda.
Thank you. I will.
Good, okay. Start off, first, Don, thank you. You've done a lot for the city and made it a lot easier. I mean, you're in a position, you're used to much bigger when it comes from, Auburn Hills, but we appreciate everything you've done. I know there was a lot of questions, concerns, issues with the previous group that was in, but you've straightened that out quite a bit. So thank you very much for what you've done. As far as what a council member or counselor does, it's simple. We're here to represent the voice of the people. Okay, and go through those things. And I do want to say one thing, as far as some of these issues that are coming up at times, just because not everything's brought up in a council meeting, because a lot of times when things are brought up in a council meeting, it almost seems accusatory, right? And it's either accusatory towards the city, accusatory towards council members, right? These issues are discussed at times, you know, in between individuals. I've had conversations with Ellen on things to come up with a common, hey, how can we address this problem without it becoming a major issue, right? And, you know, everybody talking about it and, you know, a lot of extra drama and crisis here at the council meetings and through the city. If there's questions, feel free to reach out to her, feel free to reach out to us. Judy, I know I've gotten a couple emails from you, or we all have. But these items are being discussed, and we're trying to find ways to resolve these issues. And sometimes when things happen in the past, it's a matter of we have a discussion, okay, moving forward, we're gonna do it this way, right? It's a lot of us at times letting Ellen know what, you know, maybe it's just conversations between each individual with Ellen, how they would like to proceed, or Ellen asking us. So there are discussions, so it's not like if it's not brought up here, there's nothing being discussed about it. We do have those discussions, and they are valid concerns. So, other than that, welcome aboard. Thank you for coming on, and, yeah, now you're the new favorite son. Right? Don's gone, he's an orphan now. So, but thank you. And,
Jerry, can I say one more thing? Just real quick. At 6:30 in the morning, I normally at Main Street and Tickner Street to go down to McDonald's. Don's always there. He's a fixture up there, and on weekends he's up there, so turn on the light. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, Mayor Pro Tem, just one little last comment. Thank you for running such an efficient meeting. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Respecting everyone's time.
Yep.
Second, I want to say that I concur with what my fellow councilors have said about what our responsibilities are. And I would like to say we take them pretty serious, so thank you all.
Great. Everybody's good? All right, then we'll go ahead and move to, there's no closed session. My hope was to get this done within an hour. We were close. But thanks everyone for showing up. Meeting adjourned at 7:38.
I'll see you tomorrow.
What's that? Is it?